Welcome to the Healing Spirits Here and There podcast with Terri and Amanda, where you'll hear spiritual perspectives, weird mediumship experiences, and try intuitive and trust-building exercises for yourself. Join us every Friday. Like and subscribe to never miss a show, and let's get started. Welcome to the Healing Spirits Here and There podcast. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Terri. Now, today we're going to continue our self-love and how to get us on the right path for our highest good. And again, this would have something to do with mediumship because you don't want to go with a bunch of junk in your trunk, right? Or maybe you want junk in your trunk, but not this kind of junk, right? So we can say that we're digging into forgiveness or how to unfuck yourself. I don't know. Whichever one resonates with you, this is where we're going with it. Right, Amanda?
Yeah, I would call it unstuck myself, but Terri can call it whatever she wants.
That's okay. You're in charge of the bleeper button. You could just shove it in my mouth.
Well, I think it's probably okay. I don't know if everybody's heard that word before, though, so just kidding. Anyway, so we wanted to touch on forgiveness because it's a really big topic, but when you're talking about loving yourself, accepting yourself, and moving forward in your life, unstucking yourself from wherever you are, usually there's some forgiveness, whether it is to yourself, to other people, but something that needs to be looked at and moved on. And me personally, in my life, after going through a whole bunch of stuff and then having the awareness to say, there's something wrong with what I'm doing in my life. I'm stuck. I'm attracting the same people. I'm unhappy. I don't like my work. It was just everything for me. This realization that like I'm ready for something new and I don't know where to start. And I began to think about my life, and there were some things that I was ashamed of, wished I didn't do. And so I started with some self forgiveness, and that was really, really good for me.
Research has shown that those who practice self-forgiveness have better mental and emotional well-being, more positive attitude, and healthier relationships. A related outcome ties self-compassion with higher levels of success, productivity, focus, and concentration.
To go through and to actually just think about it. And that helped me begin the process of being able to not immediately forgive other people, but begin to want to. And so for me, it was a really big thing that helped me be more authentic, helped me be more okay with myself. And so that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk about it today. Is there anything you have to add on that, Terri?
Well, it's a lot. It's not just, it's about people who also have passed and you're stuck. You didn't get to say what, or you feel guilty that maybe you didn't follow their wishes. There's many things that we could have guilt over. And I always say, and everyone should say, and has, that there's two sides to every coin. So in my sense, I would have to look at, well, what was my part in it? And that sometimes when you say you had to unstuck yourself, well, we don't know how. We don't know how to take that first step. But sometimes looking in the mirror, so to speak, and saying, oh my God, this is what I did. This is how I interpreted it. Whether it's a friendship or whatever. However, in some times, everything happens for a reason, and those bad events can put you in a different place that you never thought you would go. And I'm living proof of that, because I wouldn't be doing mediumship if I hadn't have gone through what I had gone through.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be with my husband. I wouldn't be with, I wouldn't. But for years, I was stuck in this horrible, icky space, and nothing else just mattered but my kids.
Gotcha.
So I think it's about everything. I agree with what you're saying. It's just someone will say, okay, well, how do I take that first step?
Right. And, for me, I think the starting point was just, I spent a lot of time reflecting, me personally, and going, I cannot believe the type of this started a few, like probably 10 years ago for me. Like, I can't believe the type of relationships I'm allowing in my life where people talk to me rudely, treat me badly, stuff like that. And I started to think, well, I'm the common denominator. So I can't blame everyone else for
Mm,
me being repeatedly in the same situations. And so then I had to take a hard look at myself and say, what am I allowing and why am I allowing it? And then I became very embarrassed of my actions. Like, whoa, why did I do this? And so once I started to have those feelings, I started to identify certain things where I'm like, how embarrassing, I would never do that again. And I wanted to move that embarrassment and shame by just forgiving myself and trying to move on. So for me, it was a lot of writing, talking to myself through journaling. And that's how I started because I find journaling very therapeutic, whether it's writing myself a letter
mhm,
or physically saying, I forgive myself for XYZ, and I'm not going to do that again, or I'm going to try and do better. And then I used to have a fireplace with wood burning in it, and I would write myself those things. I would crumble it up, and then I would just burn it and
mhm,
just get it out and burn it. And I had some, I would call them relics from past relationships, and I burned them. I burned them. I
mm,
had
yeah,
a boyfriend that I had on and off for a long time, and he had like painted me this picture. And even though I wasn't with him, and even though it was a cruddy relationship, I kept that picture that he
mm,
painted, and I kept
mhm,
it and I kept it. And every now and then I would look at it, and I just thought, I don't want this person in my head. He's not in my life. I don't want him in my head. I don't want him in my house. And
mhm,
after I burned it, for some reason, it was like I was energetically tied to this friggin'
mhm,
painting and I got rid of it. And I don't know, I just felt like a million times better. So, step number one for me is awareness. And then my action was writing something down. So, for me, that was helpful.
mhm,
And then writing a letter to people that I maybe want to forgive. Maybe I'm not ready. In many cases, I wasn't, but just writing, you know, to them. And not, I didn't give it to them, but I just, wrote what I needed to say that I didn't get to say that I should have. And that for
mhm,
me was a good first step on the journey to forgiveness and acknowledging how I played into these things.
mhm.
And that's not the same for everybody, right? That's just my situation.
Well, I wrote a letter and
Mm,
how I felt that he treated me, how
mhm,
I not knowing is sometimes worse than knowing, and knowing, if you're going to be real, tell a person what they did wrong, let them fix it, let them mend it, let them figure out how not to do that anymore. But nobody wants to do that, right? So
mm,
I did write the letter and I did say, this is why I'm upset and angered, but you know what, I forgive you,
mm,
and I
mhm,
set that free, because that's the thing, is if I would have stayed stuck on there, then Les could have never gotten into that field, which, where I met him, how I met him, the whole story is, to me, it was somebody in the heavens were pushing this to happen, you know.
mhm,
So I am glad that that happened. There's been times where I have gone and had to say goodbye to certain friends,
mhm.
that maybe they just don't understand me, and maybe I don't express myself very well, or maybe I'm too eager to go fight or flight type, is with my
Mm,
answers.
mhm,
Because when we want to respond to something, first of all, we think that you threatened me, or if you're telling me something that I don't like, you've threatened me, you've taken my voice away, and I'm not going to think, I'm just going to pounce. I'm just going to pounce. It's just, here we go. So being mindful of my thoughts is probably where I needed to begin.
Gotcha.
you know.
Okay. And then talking about people who have passed away,
Hmm.
forgiving yourself or them, that can be really
Hmm.
hard too because they're not around. And
Hmm.
with my sister who passed away, I wasn't mad at her or for anything, but I had my own issues that I needed to forgive myself for, thinking I wasn't there enough. I should have gone to the hospital more. All these different things that were plaguing me. Like, I should have been a better X, Y, Z. And guess what? I can't fix it. She's gone. I can't talk to her. I can't tell her sorry. And this was really hard too. And I know that a lot of people have similar feelings to that. And so, honestly, I just did a lot of self-talk with that, but also writing. Journaling, I think, is, if you don't do it, it is very therapeutic. And there's something more therapeutic about using your own hand and a pen or a pencil than typing. And if you
Hmm.
look it up online, it says there is something meditative about the practice that helps you, and it's cathartic. And so I always suggest that. And that's what I did. And I just had to write her a letter to apologizing to get that stuff off my chest.
Hmm.
And I know David had said to me, you think you didn't pick up the phone enough, or you think you didn't show up enough, but think of all the times you did show up. Think of all the times you did pick the phone up. There were so many. You couldn't have done everything. And so we have
Hmm.
to let ourselves off the hook a little bit too, that
Hmm.
you can't be everywhere all the time and you can't accomplish it all. So,
Hmm.
whoops, I'm dropping stuff. But anyways, there's just so much to dig into because life is hard, and we do things, other people do things, and none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
But you can start to move out of feeling bad, and move some of that
Hmm.
heavy negative energy. Sometimes errors can't be fixed. When that happens, accept your humanity, the imperfect nature of life, and the reality that regrets can be painful. Then, instead of blaming yourself, reframe your thinking as, something in me deeply regrets that I cannot fix this mistake. And finally, with humility, accept that mistake occurred, reflect on what you learned, and set the intention to do better next time. Energy.
I guess
And
it just depends on what they're really hurting from. Like,
yep.
example, I have had a reading way long, many moons, many moons ago, and they were after a certain person in spirit, but everybody has their agenda of who they want. And the spirit was only giving me a little bit, but yet there was this more bigger person, and I was giving the information, giving the information, giving the information. Like, it was really coming out of me. I was pretty impressed with myself way back when, for that day. And she kept saying no. She kept saying no, 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 no. 20 minutes in, I'm like, okay, we're done with the reading. I'm not charging you. My energy must not be jiving with your energy or your people, because this is not working. She goes, oh, it's working just fine. And I said, how can it be working if you keep telling me no? Well, I just don't want to talk to them,
Mm.
because I'm like, oh, 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 this was not good, because I'm sure my face gives you the I'm pissed look, because this is not easy for me to do. It drains me. And I don't have a 411 to spirit, right? You just don't get, spirit will give you what you need and not what you want. And sometimes what you need, you're looking at it like, yeah, I'm good with that. I don't need that. I have people that come in, and it'll be a plethora of different spirits that come in, and they'll be sitting there because they're like, oh, I hope so and so don't come through. I hope so and so don't come through. Hey, I'm telling you what, girlfriend, you just asked them to come in, because you just put it out there, right? And sure enough, here they come with their apologies. I say healing spirits here and there is just that. We need to heal here. The humans here need to
Mhm.
heal, but so do these people in spirit. They want to heal with you that connection that they left. Some people die tomorrow and didn't even know that they were going to go. You don't know what's going to happen
Mhm.
tomorrow. So just We need to be able to go to bed at night saying that we have done all we could in this situation. If you don't want to fix it, great. Then be willing to say, I'm okay with whatever happened enough to set me free. So a month later or whatever, went down the line, and she wrote me and told me that I was right and that she did come to her thing right now. Asked about, well, next time when she sees me, if she sees me, would her spirit person, the one that she was after, come through? And I said, well, I can't guarantee who comes through, but as soon as she said that, something came through, and I messaged it to her, and it was from the one she wanted. And she says, thank you, now crying, that's all I wanted.
Now, did she say
Why?
something about forgiveness?
She said that she had forgiven the person in spirit. She did. But then you have ones out here that, that one of the, let's just say it's a parent. Let's go hypothetically, it's a parent, and he was pretty crappy, mean. Oh, okay, we could say he was a very bad man. And I'm just going to use a father for an example. And all the kids and the whole family just hate him because of everything that he's done wrong, right? But
Hmm.
some people would think that that was the human body that did those things here. We don't understand why he did it. We don't understand his background. We don't understand how his parents taught him or did to him. We don't know what happened to trigger this, right?
Hmm.
But then the person dies and nobody wants his stuff or her stuff or whatever. I would just say sit on what you can. And even though you're angered, you can still find a way to honor that, even if it's in a ceremony to burn it, right?
I see.
you know,
That's a good
to let it
idea.
go, because now you've still let that person have a hold on you.
Right.
You're still attached, you
Hmm.
know. But sometimes being a bad person, let's say let's just say he was so horrible, but his children were all amazing. Why? Because they broke the chain. They were like,
Yeah.
so maybe there was a lesson in his evilness or
Hmm.
badness, or hers or his, whatever the case may be. That's just that's kind of a hodgepodge of different things thrown into one. But
Hmm.
it's hard because I'll tell you what, there's some people I probably wouldn't want to forgive either, but I have to say, I know I can only do this much, and I have to let it go, because the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, the more I let it gets me pissed off. It's like spirit saying, well, we're going to keep giving you that thought. We're going to keep giving you that crap. And the real thing is to be okay to talk about it, and not have any reaction to it. And
Right.
you don't know. You can talk about it. You didn't get angry telling me your story, right? I didn't cry about the ex or whatever. I didn't do that. They were lessons. Did I in the past? Oh, hell yeah. And,
Yeah.
I'm more guarded with friendships. But I'm okay with it. Everybody that I have had a reaction from, who if I don't now, they were there for a purpose for me at the time. And I would hope
Hmm.
and think and pray that I was there in a positive way, somehow, some way, for them. Just because we're not together now doesn't mean that. I just had
Hmm.
a friend yesterday that we were really close when they lived here. They're military, they moved away, and they're all in their business, and I'm all in my business, and I'm busy. Life's busy, right? But I wrote to her yesterday randomly and said, hey, I miss our chats or whatever. I have one that I try to catch up with. Some of them are coming
Hmm.
back around, and that's because it's time.
Yeah, and some friends are like that too. Like it's like we're planets, right? And they have their orbit, and they come back like every 7 years or something like that, and
Mhm,
they pop up and you're friends, and then you get busy
mhm,
again.
mhm.
But yeah, I
But
like
we're
everything you
human.
said.
And we are horrible to ourselves. We don't like the way we look. We could look better. We're too fat. We're too skinny. Our eyes are wrong color. Our hair's not curly, blah, blah, blah. And then that's the same thing. We always go to the negative. Like
Hmm.
sometimes when I talk,
Learning
I'll
to
say,
be self forgiving is a skill that requires practice. Over time, you'll notice that you are more relaxed, open, and happy. You'll be able to notice and appreciate how much pleasure can be found in a simple moment, how much there is to be grateful for in everyday life, and how much the world needs you and your special gifts and talents.
Like sometimes when I talk, I'll say, well, I'm pretty blunt. Was that rude? So now I'm questioning it, right? And if I'm really in doubt, if it's really going to bother me, I'll say, oh, I didn't mean to offend you if I did. And most of the time they're like, no, no, because I am
Yeah.
a
And,
pretty.
back for a while when I still am a recovering people pleaser. I had
Mm,
so many years of being a people pleaser that I didn't really know what the appropriate reaction was to when people asked me to do something and I didn't want to do it or I didn't have time. And so I was still really working on this when I first met David, and I would run things by him. So and so asked me if I can XYZ. I'm busy, but I could probably do some of it if I scramble or whatever. And I'd say, this is what I'm going to say to her. Is that rude? And he'd read it and go, no. In fact, you shouldn't even try and scramble and go do that. Just let her know you're busy. And if you really want to help her, why don't you offer to help on a day that you're available? And I'd go, oh, okay, that sounds fine. So, maybe you need a little assistance too, run things by someone you know and trust who has your best interests at heart, because sometimes when you're really practiced at something, whether it's being angry, being a victim, being a people pleaser, you need someone who has their head on more straight than you to view what you're doing or saying and go, oh, okay, no, you're fine, or here's how I would do it. Maybe this will help you. I don't know. I just found that helpful too. Being able to
yeah,
run things
if
by.
I found, you crack me up. I don't know if we have to rewind and go through all these shows because every time you say something, it just cracks me up. And today it was, you're still in a recovery of people pleasing.
I am. It's terrible. And what's
I
so
like that.
funny? Like, I don't know, being a people pleaser, honestly, wasn't because I'm such a nice person.
Mm,
Honestly, I think it was defense mechanism, because when people are uncomfortable, it makes me uncomfortable. And so if somebody needs or wants something and I won't do it for them, then now they're irritated or they are still in need of something. And so it's just easier for me to do it and make them comfortable. And now I can be comfortable and go back to what I'm doing. So, I didn't learn that until I went to counseling, where the lady told me, you're really not as nice as you think you are, by the way. You're just pleasing people so you don't have to deal with them or deal with
right.
yourself being sitting somewhere where someone doesn't like what you said or did. And I was like, what? No, I'm nice. How dare you? She's like, no, you're not. You're not nice. In fact, you're being mean because you're not letting anyone really get to know you because you're fake nice. And I was like, no, I'm not. What? I mean, she was a little harsh, but
Yeah.
it really got me thinking. And I was like, am I fake nice or am I real nice? And then I really had some
Mhm.
thinking to do on that, because part of what she said was true. I wasn't being authentic because I wouldn't just say, no, I don't really want to do that. That was the authentic answer.
Mhm.
Instead of, okay, hold on, let me see if I can fit it in. I'll do what I can to help you out. And then now I'm put out. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so I don't know, it's just such a weird phenomenon being the people pleaser. And so I still
But you're
struggle with that.
also empathic. So that's you can go to counseling all you want, unless they're also talking about that. That's part of it. That's part of us picking up on somebody that needs the help. And even though you're trying to say no or give them a little bit, and the reason why you're feeling it so hard is because you're feeling how overwhelmed they are of not being able to do it. There was a time where I
Mhm.
had a friend that I couldn't do a website and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. I was always going, I can't fix it. I can't fix it. I can't do it. Then finally I came to a point where it was just like, oh crap, I've got to learn this if I want to do this, because I don't want to count on people to do things for me. I
Mhm.
don't. I love the help,
Mhm.
but I'm just not techie. It's just something that some people are techie.
Mm.
I don't
Right,
know.
and it's hard. if it doesn't come natural, but you don't want
Right.
to always ask people for help. You like to do things on your own, so it's tough.
Considering this is the 17th, there is the new moon, which is a good time to do some of this stuff on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a
And
great idea. Yeah.
so, but oh my God, I am so going to write that. The recovery people, please. I'm stuck on that. Sorry.
Stuck
We're
on
going
what?
to, you are still in recovery and people pleasing.
I am. I am, and you know what's so hard about it is that I feel rude. And then I worry that people will not like me.
What is
But
James Van Prague says? Why do we care what other people think of me? I don't care what other people think of me.
yeah,
Simple.
I mean, it's to such a small degree now. Like, I feel like everybody in my life understands if I say, oh, I don't want to X or I'm not available for whatever. I don't think anybody really cares, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
But there could be something that pops up every now and then. And I guess I just don't want people to think I'm rude. And I don't know
Who cares
why.
if they do? Either they like you or they
I
don't.
don't
I mean,
know.
shit. I come across rude all the time. It just comes out of my mouth that way. I don't know. I'm trying to be mindful about it, but if I like Taryn in the grocery store will go, there she goes. And Les
Whoa.
will just walk away. Les will just walk away. And I
Oh
just
my
don't think
gosh.
Jeffrey will go to the store with me at all.
Really?
Well, no, I'm not rude to them, but I'm just saying I usually pop in with Spirit or something, and then I could be keeping my mouth shut, right? But I'm just like, bleh. Anyways, let's go back to this. Today, we're also going to pull cards, and Amanda asked me to pull 3 cards. Well, 4 came out. So while we're chit-chatting back and forth, get your number in your head. I will be reading them all, and they are 4 of them. So you have the choice. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And these cards are to help us with what?
They're the Power of Love cards. They're from James Van Prague. I've been trying to post them on the page every day. I've skipped a few days. Sorry. So we're going to make up with it with 4 today. They're just activation cards of how to, it's just, it's
Something
just
to
like
help us get
ownership.
unstuck?
It's just like priorities. It's something, it's just
Okay.
a message. And I've done it before to where I just do this to the cards until one pops out. And 1, 2, 3 came out. Last one went bloop with it. So I'm like, well, we get 4.
Okay. So pick number
So
1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever resonates with you. And Terry's going to go through and read the messages. And this should be something that just speaks to us directly to help us on our journey of self-love and acceptance.
mhm. One of them I honestly almost put back in the deck and said, ooh, maybe we don't want that one. And I'm thinking, no, if that's the way it happened and that's what Spirit said, that has to help somebody somehow. Do you want me to do them now?
Yep.
Okay, fine. Okay. Do you have your number?
Mm-hmm.
Are you not sharing your number?
Oh, I chose number 3.
Okay, fine. Let me get my little spectacles on here. Bear with me and my little things. This first one, it goes like this. I'll put this. You realize that love of self is necessary to love another. As the old saying goes, you can't love somebody else until you love yourself. It's true. The most important goal you can achieve in the physical dimensions is that of loving yourself unconditionally. And it's a tough one. You are the very person who knows your dark secrets, faults, and shortcomings the best. It's easy to see the good in other people because you don't know anyone but yourself inside and out. Do you really think that you are the only person you know who is not worthy of your love? Your soul is perfect. Your human shell is imperfect. And so is everyone else's. The quality of love you give out is only as good as the quality of love you have for yourself. So stop shortchanging the world by not loving yourself with the same intensity you do for others. you've made mistakes, but you've learned from them. That's what progress and spiritual evolution are all about. Love your weakness as much as your strengths because they are your teachers.
Wow.
Bam, right? I got
Yeah.
goosebumps all
Bam.
over. So that was, so you know who picked this number. That was number 1. That was number 1 self-love card.
That was really
Okay?
good.
That was good, right? I was like, whoa! It was the first card out, and I was like, oh, I picked the right deck. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The next card is acceptance. You are ready to release control of situations or people and loving embrace the rhythm of life. That's this little card right here. It's the second one. I think I'm going to click this so I can send them in order to you. So that was acceptance. Throughout your what's it say? Sojourn?
What?
Sogourn on earth.
Oh, like a journey.
Sojourn. Yeah,
I
that's what I
think that's
thought. It
what
was
that means.
sojourn. On earth, you will be presented with many obstacles and lessons that will test you. One of the most beautiful parts of life is its unpredictability. Nothing is permanent. Everything is constantly moving and evolving, especially you. In your life, you can progress faster spiritually by being open to the ebb and flow of events and the twists and turns that your soul companions, the fellow humans on your journey, provide. Now is the time to become aware of this gift and acknowledge that these moments are not stumbling blocks, but merely opportunities to grow. Although circumstances may seem difficult and worrisome, if you look at the bigger picture and live for the present moment, you can easily follow the natural course of life. But don't let the mindset of acceptance distract you from your ability to change the situations that hinder your soul's growth. You are always in charge.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. And it's also so appropriate.
Yeah, it was. It was. So that was that was number 2. Oh, let's see what Amanda gets. Right.
Oh gosh, is it going to be the weird one?
I don't know. It says you acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike and learn to love them as lessons. You have reached a pivotal place in your spiritual journey. You are able to take full responsibility for all your actions, thoughts, and words in this and other lifetimes. You may now step back and view your experiences objectively, realizing that you are an evolving spiritual being. Each day has brought with a new insight into yourself and to the world around you. You don't look back on particular situations as failures. Instead, you view them as valuable feedback, providing information you need in order to learn, understand, and grow. You take ownership of your choices, aware that as a responsible being, you cannot blame your behavior on another. Everything you experience is a reflection of what is within you. Recognizing that what you say can either enlighten or depress, you now speak with a purpose. You choose positive, empowering words, thoughts, and deeds, the cornerstone of a healthy and soulful existence.
Wow, I'm trying.
Good job, girlfriend. And number 1, 2, 3.
Number 4.
Number 4. Priorities. You understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. Though love and understanding, you are able to put the pieces of your own puzzle together. And by doing so, you have a deeper awareness of who you are and why you are here. Regularly take a moment out of your day to reassess your priorities. Confirm that you are living the life you have intended and that you aren't wasting energy on things that don't feed your soul's growth. Focus on what is important to you and why. Are you happy with your current situation? Are you doing your best to help make others happy? Are there people in your life who are not supporting your goals? Pausing on your daily journey to reestablish your priorities, using love and compassion as your guide, gives you a better indication of your path forward. So much of life on earth is distraction, and the ego can be fragile and petty. Stop. Listen to your heart. Your number one goal is to love yourself and share that love. All the other diversions rank after that. Life in this physical dimension is not easy, nor was it meant to be. You have to practice instilling the energy of love into your habitual thought process. Prioritizing and decision making then becomes so much easier. The choice always comes down to love.
Wow, those were awesome and so
Yeah.
appropriate, right?
Yeah, they were. They were. I was like, blah, 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 blah. Les was like, what? And I'm like, nothing. This just couldn't have felt like it. That was just like the deck. I have what, 50, 60 decks. Let me pick one for today. And even though I was using this, and to be honest, it's like the first time I've ever really gotten into this deck, and I don't know why it's been on the shelf for so long. But that's from James Van Praagh, The Power of Love. Anybody should own that deck. It just daily pop one out, right?
Yeah,
So
seriously.
even on the page when I have been putting them, I didn't think they would do very well, but there's people saying, I needed that. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you picked the number, not me. I just
Yep.
shuffled and whatever popped out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
why I
was
like it when
really
people
nice.
only pick one. When they pick two or three, or sometimes some of them are wanting all four, I'm sitting there going, sometimes they can go in a lot of different directions. Every one of these was about how we can love ourselves more.
Yeah, it really was.
Hmm.
That was really interesting.
Hmm.
I liked it.
I like it too.
So,
Um,
what we want to
ano-
do next is called a body check. That's what we call it, right? Body check. Oh
no,
no,
we
no,
called
no,
it a
body
body scan.
scan. And we keep talking about James Van Praagh. We went to a
Hmm.
James Van Praagh thing, I don't know how many years ago. And I'd done a body scan before, but we happened to do a body scan there. And that's what made me think of it because I
Hmm.
think he wanted us to do a body scan um, just to kind of feel what's going on. Where do you have some heavy energy? Where do you have some stuck energy? And it can be all over your body. And this is something that you can do at home is check your own body. And you really got to close your eyes and just feel yourself, get in tune with you, which is really what we're talking about,
Hmm.
recognizing yourself and your needs and what's happening. So, what we did is he had us close our eyes. I can't remember exactly what he did, so this might be close to it. It may not, but
That was a long time ago.
that was a long time ago.
Hmm.
So, but we've done body scans in some of our classes and things, and you guys might be, aware of how to do it already. But we'll do one together today. And so, if you want to just close your eyes, sit still.
Take a deep breath through the nose and notice how your body feels right now. We'll move slowly through your whole body and we'll be scanning each section for sensations. Feel your body as a whole right now, noticing your temperature and how you feel overall. Now, we'll be starting at your head. Notice, how do you feel? Does your head feel heavy, tired? What sensations do you pick up on? Do you feel any tension? If so, take a moment to take a deep breath, and as you breathe out, imagine those feelings melting away. And as you continue to breathe, direct that breath towards areas of tension. Now moving down your neck and shoulders, checking for tension, and going through the same motions. How do they feel? Imagining melting heaviness, pain, anything uncomfortable you might have, melting away and breathing into it, creating space within yourself. Slowly scanning and melting tension away as you go. Now check your chest and back areas, noticing how you feel. Again, taking the time at this present moment to breathe into tension and melt it away. Keep scanning now your stomach, reproductive areas, lower back, noticing any sensations, releasing and breathing into. You can even say to yourself, I release tension that does not serve me right now. I allow tension to melt away. Now moving down your hips and thighs, melting away tension, directing your breath into painful areas, feeling your knees, and even placing your hands on your knees if you'd like to, releasing anything heavy, down your calves and ankles, and down to your feet, feeling your whole body, and taking this moment to actively release tension and stuck energy from your body.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And you can do that on your own anytime. Make it a regular practice because, hey, life throws lots of stuff at us and we can have heavy or stuck energy at any point. So you can clear it yourself,
Yeah.
on your own terms. Guess what? We have another guest next week.
I like
Woohoo!
guest. I like guest.
Jan
I love it.
Finley. She is a hypnotherapist and a licensed counselor and therapist. She is amazing. Both Terri and I have seen her many, many, many times, and we're all personally friends as well because she is a great lady.
Yeah.
Do you got
I
anything
love
to
I
say
love
about Jan?
I love Jan. I love her. There's just love Jan. Oh, how
Yeah, we
funny.
love.
We had a Janet and now we're having a Jan.
Oh, yes. We like the
And I love them both.
Janies.
I love them
And you
both.
what?
I love them both.
Oh, yeah, they're awesome. So,
Yeah.
Jan is going to, on the next show, as our guest, be walking us through like a mini hypnotherapy session. So, just, when you tune into the next week's podcast, just make sure you're in a relaxed state. It's going to help you be able to get into the hypnotherapy a little bit better. She's going
And
to.
that'll be the last one of February. And wow, did that really go by fast?
It really did. And we had some things we wanted to do where I did, but they just didn't work out. Like I wanted us to write a letter to our body, but there's
Mhm.
really three parts to that exercise. And it just didn't
Mhm.
seem, I don't know, like it would work out on the podcast and maybe
Mhm.
it will fit in somewhere at some point, but it just didn't seem
Mhm.
to flow with this. And I know I had mentioned that we would do that, but it's not
Mhm.
forgotten. Just move to another time.
Yeah, same with I wanted to do those cards and people have signed up, but there's not many people that signed up, so I'll probably host it. I'm kind of waiting for the weather to get a little bit nicer for that one because
Mhm.
I would like to be able to do it on the deck or outside. So, but if you think like that, it's June or July. So I just don't want it to be that white stuff coming from the ground or from the sky
White
onto
stuff
the ground.
coming from the ground.
No, I meant from the sky to the ground. Snow.
Oh, why didn't you say snow?
Because if you say it, then it comes. If we get snow, then it's your fault because you made me say it.
All right, all right. I'll take responsibility for that.
Okay.
So we hope you guys are enjoying these shows and really concentrating on yourself and loving yourself so you can love everyone else even more completely.
Yes. And please like and subscribe and comment and share all those things that she puts down there.
So, all right, guys, until next time.
From my heart to yours. Thanks.